Welcome everyone, it's brand new content day on iRacing, and to be fair, this is not necessarily a brand new piece of content, it's an updated piece of content on iRacing, and the most anticipated, personally, in my opinion, and that is the rescan, or the updated scan of Spa-Francorchamps. This track is a personal favourite of mine. I love racing around here in any car, but particularly the high downforce cars, the Super Formula car that you can see on screen right now. And well, of course, if you're unfamiliar with what has changed at Spa over the previous years, well, quite a few things. All you have to do is just go look back a couple of recent videos of mine at Spa, or any video on YouTube in the former F1 days, and you'll see how different this circuit now looks compared to even 10, 15 years ago. Let alone even just a couple of years ago, with some real big major changes. So this scan has those changes, so let's see how it affects our driving style in the Super Formula car, a series that I love around here, and I think everyone loves this track, to be honest with you. The numbers don't lie. There's always a really high amount of participants, no matter what series is at Spa. If it pops up on a series, people are going to be doing that combo, even if it's not something they regularly drive. Hence, all the Turn 1 crashes. So, let's take the Super Formula car out for a sighting lap to see exactly what has changed around this circuit in this new scan. And then, of course, for a few fast laps to see how it drives in race trim. So, lo and behold, get into it. Right, let's have a look at those changes then. So, pit lane. And the first thing you'll notice is how much wider this pit exit is. It's so much wider. I don't feel like I'm gonna just bang my front wing into that left-hand wall anymore. There's so much of a wider turning circle, thankfully. No doubt the larger GT cars will be happy about this, but yeah, noticeably different. Noticeably, so good start there. And firstly, what you notice when you come out of the pit lane is, for me, the first thing I noticed were two things. Is the track surface, and you'll see throughout the course of this video how the track surface just looks so much better. It's a brand new track surface. Spa has been relayed since the last scan, whichever version that was from. I have no idea what scan, what year that was, but yeah, since that we have had a brand new surface at Spa, which looks lovely. And of course, how much wider it is through this first sector. This is where the majority of the changes at the circuit came from, and the first one is of course the gravel that was input at the exit of turn 1, the source. Can't really see it too much here, and see how it functions, of course, and how much that affects the exit through turn 1. Of course, you have to be more precise. You can't be as happy on the exit. Starts are going to be very interesting. They're always interesting at Spa, but even more so when you've got nowhere to escape to. So yeah, we'll see how the addition of gravel affects the race starts at Spa. Really looking forward to that one. But yes, throughout the course of this run down the old pit lane, the classic pit lane down to Eau Rouge, you'll see, of course, on the left-hand side that it is a lot more wider now. No longer enclosed, no wall on the left-hand side, and yeah, there's just lots of grass there. Brand new grandstand with the banking that has been created there. And as we run down the old pit lane, you can see, of course, Eau Rouge. The big addition, well, the biggest addition and change at this circuit, of course, for safety reasons, primarily due to some tragic incidents that happened at the top of Eau Rouge, most famously Antoine Hubert, that tragic accident in F2, where there were a number of cars that were just hitting the barrier at the exit of Eau Rouge, and they were being launched back towards the racing line, or across the racing line, which just meant you had cars going pretty much 90 to 100% throttle over the top of Eau Rouge, and then just T-boning other cars, and it led to some very big accidents, and of course a real unfortunate fatal one with Antoine Hubert. So what happened is that that enforced a change, primarily for safety reasons, and opened up the whole left side of Eau Rouge, the brand new grandstand there. And while Eau Rouge itself hasn't changed as an actual corner and the track is still as it is from that new, apart from that new track surface, you can see here that it's just so much wider, and there's actually, you'll see, a little bit off-putting when we come through Eau Rouge, because normally you're able to kind of cut a little bit of this corner. You still are, but it's a very different feel than what it was before, because the curbs, of course, have been updated since the last scan. So as we head down the Kemmel Straight, no change, of course, to this section as it was. Graphically wise, the new scan, I must admit, the trees, while I don't have 2-pass trees turned on, there's a graphics option to try and save a bit of extra processing power. It does look to be an update. It definitely looks better than some other circuits. That's just my initial opinion. Now, as we make our way into Lake Combe, the entry here, you can see it feels like, I feel like the gravel, so the inside curbing, so the green part here on the entry to Lake Combe is a little bit later on in the corner than it used to be. I could be completely wrong there, but there is some kind of mesh where you can get on the curb there before this green one. But what I've really noticed is how kind of raised this is, especially in the open wheel cars, and you'll see particularly in the second corner where you can really ground out the car. You could hear the scraping of the floor there, particularly this one, as you can see. A very, very new look for this corner. This used to be similar to how the previous corner just was, and what you can see is a lot more tarmac here. Hear that grinding out of the floor over the curb, so not sure how effective that will be, of course, for the GT cars, where they're easier over the curbs and less affected by this particular style, but for open wheel cars, I can imagine going at quite a fast pace, but this will be not helpful by any means. And it'd be interesting to see if there's, in the GT cars in particular, how much can you take that curb. I'm sure there'll be people flirting with that already and trying to take advantage of it to take gain as much time as possible, because of course you then want to be as far over to the left here for the next right-hander. So no doubt I think iRacing will have a harsh penalty put in place there for that. But it's nice to see some updated marshal posts there as well. We'll just take a reverse back if I can get in the right gear. See some updated marshal posts. So some of the objects and the events around the circuit as part of this new scan, of course, have been updated as well, so giving it much more of an authentic feel. But the gravel seems to be updated. This seems to be kind of like a new curb as well. It just seems to be a little bit more raised in the middle, it seems like, and you can see, and this is a characteristic for the course of the circuit, that the exit of these curbs now, the gravel has been brought in everywhere, much more closer to the curbs than they previously were. So that's a key factor. Keep an eye out on that, especially as we head into No Name. So heading down here, and I think this is Bruxelles. I think the name passes me by. Apologies if I've misplaced that name. The right-hander there, and then we head into No Name. So Bruxelles was as it was, and you can see here that this section of cones, there's a brand new kind of exit road here. This has all been widened. This has the barrier on the left has been brought back, and this never used to be here. Where the curb is now on the right-hand side, in essence, of this little strip of road, that's where I believe the barrier and the fencing used to be, because as you went through No Name, you could spin out of there, as I've experienced many times before, and then you end up in the left-hand side of the barrier, whereas in No Name now, there's a couple of differences. So the corner here is no longer just felt like the curbing was very short. I don't know if it was just me, but it felt very short. A little bit of like kind of AstroTurf on the inside that you could get a couple of wheels over, but it was quite risky to do. This is even more risky now. You can see so much more precision required, kind of like a sausage curb almost into the raised turf there, and if you clip two wheels on that, for sure, that's really going to throw your car off of kilter, that's for sure. And especially on the right hand side, the exit of No Name now, no more runoff. Just like turn 1, you can see that there's gravel. And as I said, that characteristic throughout the course of Spa now is that that gravel has been brought in very close to the curb. And you can see here, just as we start picking up gravel, that it's under a car's width for the Super Formula to the gravel there. So yes, definitely fine margins. And you can see on the left hand side how I mentioned all of that area has been pushed back, or that barrier in particular. So if you were to spin here, you might survive. You may survive and not actually crash over into the barrier on the left hand side. Of course, the ideal scenario is to not even get anywhere near the gravel, but no longer if you've got a few cheeky leftover incident points and you're chasing down a position at the end of a race, can you just keep the throttle planted and take that off track? Because there wasn't any slowdown penalty, was there, for going wide through No Name. So as we head down here, and there's something that I just want to bring to your guys' attention, actually, and something that I never noticed as part of this new scan, or just never noticed at Spa. I'd be interested to see on older videos if you can see this as well. But over into the top left hand of the screen there, you can see the grandstand, or the paddock, shall we say, of the start-finish straight. Never noticed that before. I don't know if it's because of the new scan and the clarity is a bit better than the older scan. I'm intrigued to see if that was the case. Not that it's going to make any difference to when I'm driving, because when you're heading down into Pujon, you're not looking up there. If you are, you're doing something wrong. There might be a reason why you always crash at this corner, but just something that I thought was pretty neat. So as we head down into Pujon, there isn't any change for this circuit. Sorry, this part of the circuit. It's as it was, of course, just updated curbing, a bit more clarity. Must admit that the colours look a lot more bright, don't they? Which is good to see. You can see the curbs through here are a bit thinner. Once again, that characteristic of the gravel being really brought in there. That curb, you used to really be able to take it quite wide there. It was quite generous track limits through that exit of the chicane. Same through here as well. You can see that's been brought in also. So Spa is going to require a lot more precision. You're still, of course, going to be able to push. It's still a very fast circuit, but it's definitely one now that you're going to have to be a little bit more patient and precise with your steering inputs and throttle inputs on the exit. I bet there'll be quite a few offs in the low downforce GT cars, that's for sure. But as we head down into the bus stop chicane, and I didn't see a white line. Do you remember that white line that you kind of used to use as a braking marker? It was kind of just, I did. That's not where I braked exactly when it came to open wheel cars, but there are some cars where that's the braking marker. There's absolutely nothing into the bus stop chicane, and I wonder if they will add it. Let's just go back, and I can't see any braking markers. Can you? There's nothing on the left-hand side, and I wonder if that's something that iRacing will update. I feel like the bus stop chicane should have braking markers, or like meter markers, yardage markers. Do you not think? Like hanging off of the, how it similarly is into turn 1, where you've got them hanging off of the fencing, the catch fencing there. I feel like it needs it, because now you've removed that white line. Like, where if you're just eyeballing it, like it's just all to do with Phil. So I don't know. I haven't checked any other kind of scan of Spa, and I haven't watched, I say, since the F1, see if there is actually any yardage markers or meter markers or whatever they are, braking markers into the bus stop. I'm pretty sure there is, and I feel like that's a bit of an oversight from iRacing. It'd be interesting to see if anyone's suggested that already. If they haven't, I might post it in the forums, or someone else do it on my behalf. Thinking of you guys, the community, you know, just doing my part. But the bus stop chicane doesn't really look to be any difference here. Curbing as it was. Let's have a check, shall we, of the pit entry, and then once we've done that, we'll actually go around this circuit at full speed and then do a couple of hot laps to see how it feels see if it's any different, especially those curbing. So around here, no, feels just as tight as it was previously. So kinder on the exit, still not so kind on the entry. I could be wrong there. Maybe it's a touch wider, but it definitely felt like it was, yeah, very, very close and narrow on the entry there. So, yeah. But there we go. That is basically the changes at Spa. It looks beautiful. It looks colourful. And yeah, well needed. We need more circuits like this. We need more circuits updated rather than just brand new circuits, because it's like getting a brand new circuit anyway. But anywho, that's that. Let's go do some fast laps, shall we, and see how it feels. Right, let's do this. Down to turn 1 for the first time. Let's see how that gravel is on the outside. Okay, maybe a bit too cautious there. Didn't really play into a factor there, did it? For a Rouge. Nice. Feels like that. The curb over, as I said in the first look, definitely feels like when you go over the top of a Rouge, it hits harder on the wheel. Like it's a corner that hits harder than it used to. Maybe being a bit too cautious at the moment over the curbings. Try and flirt with them a bit more. Oh, understeer. Be brave, Scott. Come on, be brave. But yeah, it's still Spa at the end of the day, guys. It's still Spa. One of my top circuits to race on. I love it round here. But it's always nice to get the updated scans. Bit push it past, just get through this section a bit quicker, through Blanchimont. Yeah, the scenery just looks so much more immersive now, which is great. A little tough to go through there without a braking marker. Right, let's try and push it through La Sauce a bit more. There we go. Need to be careful, need to be careful. So many people are going to do that. Is that okay through there? Cool, cool. I've got a few slowdowns going through Eau Rouge. It feels like it's a bit more off-putting with all that space on the left-hand side. Yeah, it feels a bit weird. I don't think they made changes to the corner itself. Like, I think it's still as it is. But it's amazing how, I don't know, the alignment of the car with the new curbing and the space and maybe the grandstand there that you see as you go over the top of Eau Rouge is, yeah, off-putting. But you see there, just touched the gravel. It didn't seem to really slow the car down. You can maybe touch it a little bit through No Name. Yeah. Mega Circuit just looks so much better, guys. It'll be interesting to see how it is in, of course, a race scenario. Looking forward to that. Maybe host some hosted sessions before the week is out of week 13. In this and the Super Formula Lights. But it's amazing. Happy days. About goddamn time. That's what I'm going to say. It's about goddamn time. And it's about damn time that we had some other circuits updated as well. Imola, Monza, just two off the top of my head. I'm sure there are others, but no doubt you guys will let me know in the comments below. And actually, I'm intrigued to hear what tracks you think need new scans and updated scans in the comments below. And it just makes a whole world of difference. Of course, we want updated graphics from iRacing. We want a new graphics engine, but half the time it's just the fact of that we're on old scans, older models, and I think this is a massive improvement, and it shows. So yeah, but what do you think of the new Spa? What tracks do you think need to be rescanned? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to host some races here before the week is out, and yeah, we can all experience crashing and running off wide at turn 1 together. See you then. Bye.